Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, Meg Eden Kuyatt, who's here to share with us her new novel, Good Different. So Meg Eden Kuyatt teaches creative writing at colleges and writing centers. She is the author of the 2021 Townsend Prize for Literature winning poetry collection, Drowning in the Floating World, and children's novels, most recently Good Different. She was recently featured on Good Morning America as one of the top 13 books to spring into reading with. So let's welcome to the show, Meg Eden Kuyatt.
Thanks so much for having me.
What an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this book. What inspired you to write this?
So, like a lot of us in the pandemic and just the chaos of 2020, I was overwhelmed and hitting my limits and discovering limits I didn't necessarily realize I had. And a poem just kind of burst out of me that dug up this memory of a girl braiding my hair in a recess line without asking first when I was in grade school, and how that memory surprised me. But the funny thing when you write is it can start in truth and then it becomes this new thing. So no longer was I the speaker. It became this character, Selah, who took action, and she suddenly hit that girl. And I was just so shocked. Where did that come from? What's going to happen next? And so I knew I had this story, and it all just burst out of me.
Well, in your book, you talk about a girl who's neurodivergent, and I'd love for you to share with our listeners what that means.
Sure. So neurodivergent means your brain's different. It's not a disorder or mental illness. It's just kind of a neutral term of just, it's different.
So, and how do we know when someone has or wants to, that identifies as neurodivergent?
So I think that's a good question. It's a term that's kind of expanding in what it encompasses. But, some things like autism, ADHD, Tourette's, those are things that are often under that umbrella. But I think people often realize, like they know inherently, and once they start hearing these terms and learning about these things, they go, oh, I've always felt different. I've always felt like my brain works differently. This name and this information helps explain how I work.
I think a lot of people can really identify with that. Oh my goodness. Well, what a great age we live in. I know when I was growing up, we didn't talk about these things, and I'm so glad that we're doing that now. Can you share a little bit about Good Different with us?
Sure. So Good Different follows Selah, an autistic girl who wishes she was powerful like the dragons she loves. But one day she kind of trying to survive this neurotypical world that she's tried to put up with every day, she explodes. And when she explodes, everything changes. People who always saw her as the good kid start to see her as someone unpredictable and scary. And she has to decide to speak up and advocate for herself and her accommodation needs, or risk being kicked out of her school.
Do you feel that a lot of children go through that, or a lot of young adults go through that today?
Yes, and this is wild. So, when I wrote this book and sent it out, we got some feedback from folks that was very well-meaning, but they said, "Oh, we're sure that this was inspired by what happened to Meg when she was a kid, but this doesn't happen anymore. So could you update it to what happens now?" And I was appalled. Like I know how you don't know till you know, right? So like I think their feedback came from a well-meaning place, but I was also shocked because I didn't write this from something that happened to me. Obviously, so much of Selah's story is inspired by my life and my lived experience, but I was never threatened to get kicked out of my school. But kids I know today are getting threatened to get kicked out of their schools or worse. And I've known autistic kids who have had some really dire consequences in their life for experiences that were complete misunderstandings of a child's behavior. So it was really, really important to me to write a story for those kids, and to encourage those who aren't those kids, perhaps to look and see if you see behavior that surprises you. I challenge you, instead of making assumptions that kid is trying to be violent, that they're trying to be a troublemaker, that they're scary, that maybe to look beyond why is this happening? Because it's probably not that, at least for neurodivergent kids, it's quite likely that's just, I'm overstimulated and I'm trying to do something to fix my situation. And this is just what happens. So
I love in your book how you talk about that it's, the character comes to understand that she's different, not damaged. I think that's a big deal.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that that's something that a lot of us feel. And I've just been blown away. This book hasn't been out long, but I've already gotten so many emails from readers, young and old alike, that have said, this is me. I felt this way and things like that. And that's just so wild because you write a story like this and you think, I'm the only one that feels this way. Will anyone resonate with this book? Will anyone buy this book? And I'm not alone. We are not alone. There's lots of people who feel this way.
I can understand that. It always feels unique to us until we find out that there are other people who are going through the same thing. And in many ways, what a empowering idea this is to understand. It's comfortable also to know that other people are going through what we're going through.
Yes. Yeah, I think that that's so empowering too, because when you realize you aren't alone, you can learn from each other, you can learn tools, and you feel like you're more empowered to have a voice.
So when you are writing Good Different, you start off by, you're sharing with us about her getting her hair braid. She hits the other girl. Did the story just take off from there, or did you have like an idea? Did it kind of write itself?
It kind of did, which I hate saying because I've written lots of other books before this that have not gotten published, and it has always been a grueling, difficult process. And this one really just kind of exploded out of me, and it came in pieces. And I think the concept of writing from this perspective has been bubbling under the surface for a long, long time. But yeah, I think that central action, that inciting incident, once I realized that, a lot was able to spring from that, which helped with creating the story.
What do you want readers to take away from your book?
I think I want neurodivergent kids who read it and resonate with it to know, as we said, you're not alone. And maybe here's some tools that can be helpful for you. Maybe you can be empowered like Selah to try these things to help you. But I also really hope that, neurotypical readers, kids and adults alike, can read this and have a better empathy for those that are different from them. And as I said before, be careful about the assumptions you make about the children in your life, especially if there's behavioral problems, before jumping to conclusions. Ask, where is this coming from? Why is this happening? Is there a way we can resolve this, that's going to really deal with the problem?
So is being neurodivergent your superpower?
That's a great question, and it's a complicated one. I think of neurodivergence as a two-edged sword, right? There's strengths and there's power and there's beauty in that, but there's also difficulty. And I think we have to look at both, because there are some things that I can do really well, and people go, wow, you're so smart. But then there's other things that, for everyday folks, they go, why can't you do this really simple thing? And I've internalized thinking, oh, I'm lazy or I'm not trying hard enough. And so I think that there's those challenges and those things that, I guess they call that often a spiky skill set, especially with autism, that, you can excel really great. And often that masks the problems because everyone sees the stuff you do well and they assume, oh, you can just do everything really well, right? And nobody's like that. But the spiky skill set can be particularly surprising for folks on the outside.
Is this a book that would be perfect for, let's say, like book clubs?
Oh, yes. I would love this in book clubs because I think it's such a great conversation starter. And in fact, actually, if you check out my website, megedenbooks.com, I have discussion questions that can be used for book groups or classrooms. I have even writing prompts if you want to, integrate using this as a launching point to write your own poems and write, your own experiences. So I think it's a really great thing to be able to discuss. And because it's in poems, it's a relatively quick read. I think there's kind of a funness to poetry. There's a lot of different aspects you can talk about with it.
So do you teach writing workshops?
Yes, I do. I teach a lot of creative writing workshops, actually. And if there's writers that are interested in that, you can see more on my website as well.
Well, Meg, where can our listeners connect with you? I know you've said it once. It'd be great if you just share that with us one more time.
Sure. So you can find out more about me on my website, megedenbooks.com, MEGEDEN books. You can also find me on Twitter at Confused Narwhal and Instagram at MEDEN_author.
Well, Meg, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Marianne.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for quick messages from our sponsors.
If you want to stop divorce fast, you do not need to waste years in therapy. You do not need to work on yourself, and you do not even have to have your spouse on board. If your spouse wants out, if they're filing for divorce, separation, or having an affair, what you need is a proven process to turn your marriage around. Book a free breakthrough session with us at highthrivecoaching.com/apply.
Dr. Richard London, who has 25 years of experience being known as the Man of Steel with the Heart of Velvet, presents the Life Wellness System, The Road to Yes, a mentoring system that brings you to becoming a wellness heir. Imagine having wealth, wellness, love, peace, and spirituality in abundance and balance now. Visit doctorateoflife.com or call 720-213-8021 for a free 15-minute wellness evaluation.
Hi, this is Jana Wilson, author of Wise Little One, Learning to Love and Listen to My Inner Child, a best-selling prescriptive memoir in inner child healing. I'm also the founder of the Emotional Healing System. The inner child, simply put, is your feelings, both positive and negative. If you'd like to learn to love and listen to your wise little one, pick up my book at Amazon or visit my website at janawilson.com. It's never too late to have a happy childhood.
The first thing you need to know about me is that I love my kids, but they are not my everything. They used to be, but that's when my entire life fell apart. In order to pick back up the pieces, I had to put the love I have for myself before everything else, including my kids. I'm Jessica Dennehy, and I own multiple businesses. I'm a best-selling author, and I have all the strategies that I've used to make my life what it is today. And I'm going to teach you how to do them in my new book, Starfish is a Superpower. So go get your copy today on Barnes & Noble or jessicadennehy.com.
Announcing a revolutionary tool for wellness. Scalar Light has the ability to enhance and harmonize your own bioenergies. With Scalar Light, you can get started in just minutes and begin feeling better the very next day. Scalar Light is a remote energy that gently and subtly works with your own body's bioenergies, increases pro-cellular wellness, and enhances your body's immunity.
Experience the benefits of Scalar Light. Try a complimentary 15-day experience at scalarlight.com.
In your hands lie ancestral patterns. These patterns shape how you think, what you struggle with, and experiences you love, your life pattern. We're going into the latest neuroscience of biological hand analysis, a realm beyond palmistry where science and the soul entwine. Hand analysis is the latest method to transform lifelong patterns. I am Master Hand Analyst Brent Bruning. Join us and visit thepowerinyourhands.com.
Pandemonium. Fast forward 20 years. A U.S. president seizes control of all U.S. missiles, the power grid, the banking system, and every computer in America as he hides in an underground bunker. Pandemonium, a captivating sci-fi thriller where a hidden war, psychics, aliens, artificial intelligence, and transcendental love collide with the latest media technology. Pandemonium, live to all devices. Get your copy on paperback or digital. Free sample at getpsychic.org.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.